Hello, folks. Welcome to Speedgaming Live 2023 Timespinner Randomizer Tournament. I hope you're excited for this match. I am mega excited for this match. We have here UrzaMTG versus LunarRayGames, aka Bodhi, deep into the second chance bracket now. And are they?
No, this is the first chance bracket.
Woo! This is the top 4 of the winners, top 8 of the tournament. That's incredible. Props to both of these racers for making it this far. I'm really excited to see how this match plays out. With me, of course, is Llama, who has already spoken up. Say hello.
Hello. Of course I had to speak up because I had to correct something.
Understandable. But yeah, both of these racers have done an incredible job so far. UrzaMTG, the 2nd seed in the qualifier out of 24. Bodhi on the right, the developer of the game, and very, very technical runner. One of his bona fides includes beating me last round, so you know he's good.
Yeah. And yeah, he's very excited. He loves the randomizer and is hoping to include one in the possible sequel. Which
also just vibrating with excitement at the possibility of Timespinner 2.
Oh, gun minus. No, I'm sorry.
We're already starting off with what looks like a painful seed. We're going to sit here for a few minutes as runners destroy these dummies. Dark Flame's neutral, not terrible. Good, but not terrible.
Not terrible. At least they have the range with Gorb.
True. They can do 2 damage to things all the way across the screen.
But yeah, as Jim was mentioning, exciting things are happening on the LunarRayGames Twitter. Some teaser images. The teaser image has been released with a 3 in the corner.
And we know exactly what that means just as well as you do.
Yeah, something sure is going to happen.
So we're going to see our runners mostly following the same path as each other until we find some kind of progression in this early game, something to differentiate the path. And whether that is some source of vertical, the Succubus Hairpin, the Light Wall, the Celestial Sash, or the Timespinner Wheel, which stops time and allows you to use enemies as platforms, or whether that is a teleport beacon, one of the new things that is introduced to this particular year for the race. Our runners start off with the pyramid keys, which allow them to warp back and forth from the warp rooms that they visit. You saw one on the very left side of that opening area. They kind of dipped into the room and came back out. So that was just tagging that warp point. Now they can warp back to that point whenever they want. But there are also 3 temporal beacons that unlock warp points they don't already have access to. One for each of the 3 ages in the game. We are currently in the past. There is a warp beacon for the present, which is going to unlock basically the other half of the game, and then a warp beacon for the pyramid, which will unlock the zone that the end boss is in.
We've gotten a few things that show up on the tracker, but nothing useful yet. The fire source from the pyro ring helps unlock some things later, as well as the B key card, but they kind of need access to the present to make use of anything they've picked up so far.
For now, we're just going to see our runners continuing probably mostly... Ooh, Timespinner gear. All right, that is one of the 5 pieces of the Timespinner necessary to fight the end boss once they have access to that pyramid. But yeah, we're going to see our runners mostly following in each other's footsteps. Bodhi on the right actually did a very slight divergence to what Urza's doing. There's a couple of chests in that area. Bodhi picked up the ones on the right before heading up. And Urza
only picked up one, just the one by the rats. I think he might still be following Urza.
Yeah, they're probably both doing the same thing here. Yep, Bodhi turns around, gets into that warp room, and immediately turns around. Both of them are taking advantage of the pyramid keys, the Unchained Keys flag, in order to get some of the early warps before knowing necessarily whether or not they're going to need them, in the expectation that they will need them, and it'll make it easier to teleport around and get access to the areas near those warps later on. So they're going to be coming back down here, picking up a warp, and then teleporting up to that top warp, and then continuing into the castle. And all of this saves maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds in a possible future where they need access to this warp. If they don't end up using this warp, then, it's about 15 seconds, 20 seconds that they're just kind of throwing away. But probably not a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
Not a big deal. We have a flooded moat there, which means we do need the water mask if we want to check underneath that drawbridge. So not even bothering to climb up to raise the drawbridge because it's not necessary. Need to find that water mask first.
And that illustrates another new flag for this year, the Rising Tides flag. There's a bunch of locations that have water and could be drained, or don't have water and could be flooded. The moat is one of them. The basement loop on the right is another. Lake Serene over on the left side of the pass is yet another. A lot of different opportunities for routing to be very slightly different and for requirements to be slightly different because of where the water level is.
Just getting bullied by all the enemies here. It's not necessarily late game, but it is later than the beginning of the game, and so they're a little underleveled, and having Gorb Minus is not helping them.
Yeah, Gorbmine is not doing a whole lot of work. Dark Flame's not doing a whole lot of work.
Well, the Giantess resist both sharp and dark. So, yep, she's just gonna keep scooting closer. Scoot.
Yeah, this is a real illustration of how bad this start is. You know, both of our runners kind of struggling with this Giantess. LunarRayGames deciding, heck with it, I'm just jumping over. Did Urza get the chest?
I'm not sure. I glanced over to Bodhi. There's that Empress robe that is some good damage and defense.
Yeah, it's going to make things a little bit easier.
I think Urza did not get that chest yet. I don't think Urza realizes that if she's smashed the ground, you can just barely make it over her. Which LunarRayGames, Bodhi, as the developer, knows that you can do that.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that with experience with the randomizer, you kind of internalize all of these like little different edges that you can get, ways to kind of move past things in different ways. And I believe this is Urza's first year in the tournament, although definitely not his first experience with the randomizer. I think he's played it a bunch in multi-worlds with some of the other people in the community. But it's just, you know, one of those things that's like, with experience, you get this knowledge, and it kind of speeds things up for you. Urza, unfortunately, abandoning that chest. We know it's not really going to be a big deal, nothing there. But it's something that he's going to have to come back for.
Was it the Plasma Geyser spell?
Oh, it might have been the Plasma Geyser. Yeah, I see that pink on LunarRay's side. Yeah,
so it might be, so it might be important. We still can't reach that room yet. There is a room further up in the castle that is locked by pink. If there is no other pink source in the vicinity, then that might cause Urza to have to double dip to get into the queen's bedroom.
That's true. And with how out of the way this check is, it's kind of smack in the middle between two warps. It's through a number of enemies, no matter which direction you go. He might just never come back for it. He might just be living his life at this point, being like, all right, well, I can't get that chest, and I have to live as if it doesn't have anything good in order to be able to move on with the rest of the seed.
There. Oh, nice. Finally. And there's a plasma orb LunarRayGames has picked up, so...
Point is moot. The progression is going to be available to both of them. The plasma orb also does the same job as the plasma geyser in terms of being a pink orb item that gives you access to that room. And right next to the succubus hairpin, the double jump. So both of our runners are going to have access to that location at the same time.
Ooh. Where are we going? Twin...
Modern...
That was military?
Okay. Yep, it started with an M. I saw that much.
Yeah. I think so. I think that was what
Okay.
it was. It just goes
so that's
going to
be... Yeah, right. So that's going to be access to the right side of the available present area. The military warp beacon comes right under the right Varndegrey Tower, which is actually a pretty terrible point for access to the present. You need one more thing in order to get anything beyond the 2 immediately available checks. Fortunately, they have the B key card, which is one of those things, so they'll be able to head on the ground over to the left side of the present in order to get to the library or Lake Desolation and to the other places that might want to check. They will still need to kill 3 bosses in the past if they want to go to the other right side of the present, further to the right past the military hangar. These seeds have been frequently not required to go to the military hangar, to go into the lab.
It is required. You have to prove it. I double checked on Urza's side. Yes, it was military hangar. There's a gas mask though. That's sometimes proof.
Mm-hmm. So the gas mask tells you that at least one of those bosses is in logic, that the game expects you to be able to kill it, which means that it might be that much more important to actually kill it. But still no guarantees yet.
Urza not checking underneath Twins, probably going to loop back around to get it on the way back out.
Mm-hmm. An understandable play. Urza switching to that Plasma Orb, getting a little bit more damage, although not a lot more damage.
Not a lot. Plasma, it's not great. We see LunarRayGames, Bodhi is skipping the twin spot. Again, prove that it is required. Just
Amazing.
the gas mask is not enough.
Dodging the meta check, then.
We'll see the pink room up here on the left.
Yep, and we'll see whether or not Urza decides to challenge the Golden Idol spot. But yes, this is a spot. It's a bit of a run, so this is a spot that you kind of want to come back to later on once you have the warp shards,
or maybe even having Talaria to help you get through there.
Absolutely.
We got a past beacon. It was military. It was the castle keep, so completely useless.
Yep. Past beacon most of the time not going to be super useful because you get it after exploring some amount of the past anyway. So very rarely has the Time-Worn Beacon been progression for our runners, but every once in a while.
Once that was the Royal Tower, so they had that backwards access to it.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was really interesting. It's so fascinating the way this game can make you route different areas.
All right, we have Bodhi checking the present, equipping the demon for that little bit of extra damage, because we are desperate.
Urza coming up to this warp point and then maybe making the same decision, or maybe going up to Alana's towers.
Probably doubling out because there's a lot you can't get without something else.
Looks like Urza deciding to take this opportunity to make some of the one-off checks that weren't available prior to this. I don't think you can get to the Bombardier's check from here, but you can get to the Engineer jump, and for sure Urza will be able to get to that one check that he skipped behind the Hammer Giantess.
Yeah. That might have been nagging behind his mind, and he's just like, I gotta go get it.
Right, yeah, that's such an easy check. It's so easy to get in your head about, oh my god, that's definitely a check that Bodhi must have gotten already. What if it's good?
What am I doing?
But yeah, Bodhi on the right, checking out the library. Library, a very dense location, a lot of checks that you can get. Half of the checks are hidden behind the tablet. All of these terminals require the ability to download the information off them. Wow, Gear 2!
Okay.
That's quick. 10 minutes in, 2 gears. I love it. But yeah, you have to have that tablet in order to get access to about half of the checks in the library. But there's still a bunch of checks left over, and it's all worth definitely coming in here for.
We have Urza considering, where do I go? Where do I go? Looks like following in Bodhi's footsteps.
Having grabbed the Engineer jump, a check which has proven to be useful in a lot of the seeds in this tournament. This time, only a Chaos Rose in it. No big deal. Which almost assuredly means that Bombardiers is going to have progression. Urza, yep, going down that B route instead of heading to the other areas of the pass that they now have access to. Which, again, understandable. Going into the pass kind of requires facing a semi-hard boss fight, or going to areas where you don't have the ability to get all of the chests that are in the area. And just as a general rule, people don't like going to areas where they can't get all the checks. So coming over here to the past and kind of exploring the area, Urza deciding to check out the elevators, which is a fascinating play here. Without the elevator keycard, there's a bunch of checks that you can't get here either. But
Did Urza pick up a warp shard at some point?
Yeah, both of our runners have picked up at least one warp shard.
Okay.
Out of the
Because
checks.
you have to save scum out of one end if you are if you don't have those warp shards.
this is a fascinating play, and I wonder if it's specifically because he doesn't have the key card that he's making this play. Maybe he feels like he's behind already and wants to kind of gamble in order to get something that Bodhi hasn't had the chance to get.
I can understand why Urza is thinking that he's maybe behind because of all that time with that giantess. Ooh, the Merchant Crow, possibly.
Okay.
Something.
That may end up being relevant. Merchant Crow and Kobo are two familiars that are being used as progression in the Timespinner Randomizer. They gate access to the Temporal Gyre bosses, Ravenlord and Ifrit. who, instead of being required to go through the Temporal Gyre and the Pyramid, instead have separate warp portals in order to access them, and each of them hide 3 separate checks.
Mm-hmm. The Merchant Crow, though, is behind that laser gate, which we don't have proof yet is required.
Yep. Yeah, and given the way that these tournament seeds have gone, if any of them decides to go to the right into the lab, that's kind of making a gamble as far as the meta is concerned. Generally, we have seen people head to the right and be paid off, or we've seen people head to the right and it's just nothing good after nothing good, and then the other person wins the race because they went back and checked all of the little one-off checks, you know, the various things that are gated by time stop or by double jump or whatever that you just miss on the first time through.
Yes. That is the unfortunate great equalizer of randos, is that sometimes you just make the wrong choice. It's not a dumb choice, it's just the wrong one.
Absolutely, absolutely.
LunarRayGames heading over to Lake Serene, probably to burn those vines, and then do fire checks.
Yeah, with access to that pyro ring, he's going to be able to burn the vines, which means opening up some checks in the present, the Lake Desolation area that neither of the runners have visited yet. Without the water mask, he may or may not be able to access the bottom half of Lake Serene. Lake Serene could be drained because of that Rising Tides flag set.
I haven't seen enough of the map check to know if it is flooded or not. That's the
me neither.
On Urza's side, I didn't see much of the past checks, so we
do have a captain's cap for LunarRay. That captain's cap is going to be a decent piece of equipment. I think the 3rd best hat as far as damage output is concerned.
A fancy party hat.
Yeah, absolutely. So given the lack of decent spells and decent orbs, this is going to be the inroad to some damage, is maybe using some of those spells in order to get some kills, to get some levels, using that equipment to beef up your damage a little bit. And we see spells specifically from Bodhi, that Crimson Vortex paying off.
Crimson Vortex is actually pretty good. If you can get it to hit multiple times on an enemy, it just keeps hitting over and over again. It's got some pretty good damage details on it.
Looked like Serene was flooded, like usual?
Yes.
So without the water mask, they're not going to be able to get those bottom half checks. They're not going to be able to make it into the Caves of Banishment, which is where one of those 3 relevant past bosses lies, the Maw. But they will be able to take the top half of this path and go to the left edge of Lake Serene and burn all the various vines along the way.
Wait, was it?
Was it? Oh,
no,
yeah, look at the map. It doesn't look like it's flooded, actually.
I just zoomed! I saw the flooded area of the previous...
Oh, yeah. So it's drained. Oh, excellent. Okay, so that'll give them immediate access to the Maw Caves if they want to take it. Just double jump in the Maw Caves isn't enough to get everything.
Everything we just said, ignore that. Actually...
Yeah, just double jump in the Maw Caves isn't enough to get all of the chests there, so it's probably the kind of thing that they're not going to choose to do immediately, especially with, you know, all of the stuff in the present, and Ilana's towers, and all the other places they could go. But we'll see what decisions they make here.
Yeah, the seed's been very skimpy on actual orbs. Like, we've got Plasma and Gun Orb, right? That's about it.
Yeah, that Crimson Vortex is definitely the most powerful tool either of them have right now. The Plasma is minus, the Gun Orb is minus. Not a lot of good options.
Plasma does have that benefit of homing attack, so don't have to aim it too much, but it sometimes will betray you.
Yeah, Plasma dealing 5 damage a shot as opposed to the Gun Orb's 3 damage a shot, so a good rat killer.
An even better party hat.
Yep. More equipment for Bodhi on the right. Urza likely to get that same thing relatively soon. The expectation with drained Lake Serene, or if Lake Serene is accessible, however it's accessible, they're going to do this kind of horseshoe routing, going up to checks on the top of Lake Serene, burning the vines, then coming back down, checking the bottom, and then looping back around and heading up to the top.
Yeah, nothing too big on divergence options, really. Probably going to see a boop of the warp point and doubling back. Yep. Finish up the top half of Lake Serene.
So we'll see LunarRayGames burning the vines on the right, getting the chest over there, and then probably heading to the left and going to harass whoever's at the Azure Queen spot.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to abandon over here, whereas other places there's stuff to abandon.
And it's all checks at the end of the day, you know? Every check could be something important.
Yep. Also enjoying this music. I know that Pioneer's Horizon, the music here at Lake Serene, is a lot of people's favorite.
Yep. Excellent track, absolutely. So I'm actually interested to see who they get at Azure Queen. Azure Queen, not like the most difficult of boss spots, but if you get an Emperor there, or if you get even someone like Varney there, like there could be a potentially difficult fight given the tools that our runners have access to right now.
Yeah, it is the third boss you fight. So, but they don't have many options. If it resists Plasma, Dark, and Sharp, what are we going to do?
Right. So this is the first boss that we're facing the seed. As you can see, Ilana has replaced Azure Queen here. Yep, she's weak to Dark, so the Crimson Vortex is going to do some pretty good damage. Weak to Aura also. I didn't see that they picked up an Aura Serpent. Aura Serpent could be very good here.
Importantly, it locks you up where she is. So taking advantage of what some people would maybe think is a disadvantage, that it locks you in place up there, so she just misses with her attacks.
Ilana, a fairly predictable boss, so not too bad to run into in this spot. You can see that Bodhi's not doing a whole lot of damage. Those guns really not accomplishing lots here.
But we do see the Desperation attack here. That means she is halfway done with her health.
So definitely a slog, but absolutely within our runner's capabilities, given the spells they have and the little bit of damage boost from the equipment. I'm hoping that Bodhi has enough ethers and stuff to really get this fight down in a slightly faster clip. But yeah, plugging away with the guns, it'll work eventually.
I just realized how ironic it is that the guns are just useless. You just shoot people and it bounces off of them.
1,000 years ago, coming into the town with a gun, and actually it doesn't do anything. Sorry, buddy. You tried.
Shoot it, Ilana, and just peek.
So getting past Ilana now, getting the last vines burnt, getting the last 2 checks on this side of the map. And where will you go now, Bodhi?
Fire checks.
Fire checks, yep, Lake Distillation. Still not willing to go to Ilana's towers or to go to the Maw Caves. Not willing to go to places where they're not going to be able to pick up all the checks.
With Ilana's tower, they can't actually get that much higher. You need either dash or time stop to get up further from the first floor.
So not a lot of options in that respect. I think there's 1 check that's available if they go that side in Ilana's towers. It's a bit of a run for 1 check.
Yeah, one check.
Bodhi facing off against the Golden Idol at Boots. This is going to be a quick fight. Even with some questionable damage sources, this is an easy location to fight a boss at.
It's the very first boss.
So the damage scaling for the boss randomizer means that whichever boss you face is going to have their HP scaled to the location and their damage multiplied or divided in order to scale to the location. In this case, they have to do what, 400 HP for Boots?
I believe so. He's a little bit chunky for the early game, but it's not too bad at this point for our runners.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have a shield ring. Nope,
silence ring.
I get shield and silence mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, both fine if you don't have anything else, I think.
At higher levels, the silence ring is actually pretty nice because it completely negates any a plus
and it's an eye.
It completely negates all damage that you get, so you don't even have that knockback. You just sort of phase through the enemies. So I do appreciate a good high-level silence ring.
But for now, they have a high-level Eye Orb, which is going to be a nice find. Eye Orb, the best source of sharp damage for your melee orbs, does a lot of hits, and is really, really powerful with orb swapping. You can use the orb loadouts with the jewelry box to swap between your orb swap between your loadouts fairly quickly, and that resets the cooldown on your melee orbs.
And it's plus.
Which is going to be a very big deal compared to all the minus orbs they found so far.
This area with all the birds does eventually get a couple more checks if you defeat the Maw. Bodhi is hinging on the bet that probably not going to be required. We do have C card, so quite a lot of Vardagroth's tower is available. We still need that elevator keycard to get to most things on the right.
Mm-hmm. And if they pursue that C card into the elevator towers, that means there's a part of the map that, I guess with double jump, they'll be able to get out, but is otherwise kind of a potential trap.
Bodhi has yet to equip Iorb Plus. We're not certain if he saw it.
Well, he'll do what he thinks best given the tools he thinks he has available.
That is fair. So all we can really ask of anyone, really.
Yep. Urza now facing that Ilana at Azure Queen on the left side.
Some suffering happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Ilana weak to dark, so those dark spells doing some decent damage, but spells are expensive, and then our runners don't have a lot of aura yet.
We do have a little bit of flooding in the Lake Desolation.
Which is convenient. It makes some of these checks accessible when they otherwise wouldn't be to just double jump. Urza making it through, good job, and probably continuing to follow in LunarRay's footsteps. I would
do fire checks.
Yep, I'd expect to see fire checks on the left side also.
Yep. No.
So where is our progression? Oh, going into the Maw Caves. All right, this is a divergence. And the problem with this, the reason that I expect that Bodhi didn't do this, is abandoning some checks over there, which is always a hassle to come back to. The Maw Cave's not particularly accessible, even after you've been through them. There's the warp right at the start, and there's a warp right at the end, but all the stuff in the middle is going to be a hassle to get to if you skip it and then need to come back to it. I think Urza might be banking on finding that progression midway through, since there's really not a whole lot of options for where that vertical progression could be at this point. There's got to be something coming up. There's got to be a water mask, or some source of infinite vertical, or another key card. Like, there's got to be something.
Yeah. And we know that fire checks didn't have anything for them. So, Empire Orb. Thank God, because I think Bodhi did actually completely forget about Iorb Plus. Luckily, Empire is good even if it is not plus. It's one of the latest orbs you get in the game. Very powerful, punch things, and they die.
Yeah, hopefully that'll drive him into his inventory. He'll see that he actually has the Iorb.
I don't think he did. But...
well.
Ooh,
the Eternal Coat, definitely a nice piece of equipment. The best armor for the purposes of damage output.
All right.
So far, nothing interesting on Urza's side.
Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going?
He doesn't know either.
He's gonna check the one chest in the Royal Towers?
No, he's going for the golden idols.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a valid check to make here. Definitely one of the kind of further out of the way places.
But at this point, you got to be thinking, well, I'm going to have to be going into the Maw Caves anyway. There's that.
There it is.
Vertical. So I might as well get the twins too, because I'm probably going to have to go to the right of those laser gates. We have the gas mask. It's kind of pointing us that way. We have the B key card, which is also needed to get into the lab. So it's kind of pointing us that way.
Yeah, the signs are definitely there. It is possible to make it into the lab. This light wall, a nice pickup for Urza, because it means that he's not going to have to skip any of the checks here. There's this jackpot room he's just making his way into. Battered minus, fire minus, ice plus. That is A plus orb.
That is Bodhi's favorite orb, actually.
Wow.
I think it's because it's the most unique attack pattern of the orbs. It's the only orb aside from like plasma that can attack downwards.
Urza deciding not to fall for Ice Plus, instead equipping the Fire Minus as an optional orb to use instead of gun, and using the Icicle Ring, which is the Ice Ring, which is also plus. And on a fast attacking orb, the Wind, for example, that's basically a machine gun. Mash as fast as you can and spit out ice cubes the entire
actually
time.
Equipped the Ice Orb.
Yeah,
using
there
them
it is.
on those snails.
Ice Orb has a very, very interesting attack range, dropping an item right in front of you that deals multiple hits of damage. So very useful against stationary enemies that are on the ground, such as those big snails, and difficult to use against almost anybody else.
And we have LunarRayGames heading into the Maw Caves. So looks like they're both thinking the same thing. I gotta go to the lab. There's nothing here.
Right? So LunarRayGames is going to find that light wall. He's going to realize that, oh, this was the place the whole time. And we'll see how that plays out.
I'm so
he's also coming in. He's coming in with a little bit more damage than Urza is, right? He's got that Empire Orb equipped, so he's making shorter work of some of these enemies. And every enemy that Bodhi kills that Urza doesn't, that's more experience that he has under his belt. That's, you know, more damage that he'll have later on in the seed.
Alright, got Urza tapping the save. Gonna go check out who is playing the role of Maw.
Yep, and with as Llama mentioned, with the gas mask and the B card, Maw's looking more and more like it's going to be relevant for the seed, so head on in there.
Urza, please don't use the Ice Orb on Cantorin. Okay.
Cantorin, kind of an upgraded version of Ilana in a kind of upgraded spot from where we saw Ilana. So this is going to be a rough fight. Urza does not have much more in the way of tools, but wow, making the Ice Orb work for him.
Yeah. Bodhi is going to have a little bit easier of a time because Cantorin is weak to Empire Orb.
Yeah, Empire's going to do a lot more damage than this Ice Orb is dealing, plus or not. Urza does have him over half health, though. That was the desperation attack, that light wall.
Bodhi equipping the Bleak Ring on his loadout. It's one of the damage increasing rings you can get. As you attack, you sort of chain up those attacks and you do more damage, but you also will possibly take more damage.
Urza making his way through that Cantorin fight. You love to see it, honestly. That was a excellent fight, given the tools he had available. Very excited to see people do interesting things on some of these bosses.
Bodhi instantly equipped his favorite orb because it's plus.
Urza trying to get the clipping trick. Yeah, there it is.
But couldn't move. There you go.
So if you jump at the same frame as you send the elevator down, you are detached from the elevator hitbox. But you're still locked into position until the elevator finishes going down. So it gives you a slight advantage. You can go head to the side sooner and thus negate some of the jumping time. But it's, you know, pretty slight still. Urza taking advantage of this elevator access to go to the Caves of Banishment, an area that we have not seen yet. Without the Water Mask, there's only 2 checks that you can get here. But those 2 checks are Sphere 1. Those 2 checks are always available no matter what level of progression you have. So they're also the kind of places that it's like somewhat scary to just leave for too long.
They also contained nothing.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
Urza heading towards Bat Ledge now. So with Infinite Vertical, I think we're going to see Urza taking a shot at all of these random one-off checks that we haven't had the chance to get to yet. So Bat Ledge is one of them. I think the Bombardier's check that they skipped in the Palace is probably going to come up soon.
Glass Pumpkin, which makes it so that you essentially have double the amount of time stop available.
No, Urza headed to the past now. I guess he's going into Lake Desolation?
Yeah, I think Urza hasn't done the fire checks yet.
Right, Urza hasn't done the fire checks. He'll be picking up that Eye Orb, he'll be picking up that Sea Key card, and not a whole lot else. It's interesting where, you know, LunarRayGames a little bit behind Urza coming to this Cantorin at Maw fight, but with the Desolation checks not done yet, Urza's pretty behind Bodhi, right? Like, Bodhi's going to be making some decisions here to go to places that Urza hasn't seen, and Urza is only checking stuff that we know is not going to be particularly useful.
Yeah, I would still put Bodhi a bit ahead in the race. Not anything that's not impossible for Urza to recover from, though. Because
absolutely,
these randos are a fickle entity.
Yeah, one of the fascinating things One of the fascinating things about the way this flag set is played out is more often than not, you end up in this position where both runners are looking for one thing, the final gear, or the wheel, or the spindle. And it's just, which check is this in? And it could be anywhere in the game. So the way I've been thinking about it is, all of these little things that you do to eke out a 10 seconds here, 15 seconds there, get more damage so you can go through the boss fights quicker, get more experience so you can go through the boss fights quicker. All of that is just the opportunity to roll more dice once you get to the end game of the rando. And your goal is just to roll as many of those dice as possible and roll higher than your opponent. So technical skill, absolutely an advantage, but it's not the end-all be-all. If you get there 10 minutes ahead of your opponent and you roll low, and your opponent gets there and your opponent rolls high, then that's the seed. That's it.
That's just how the cookie crumbles.
Mm-hmm. I love it, honestly. Like, I think it makes the races so interesting. I think it's great for commentary. I think it's great for the audience. I think it's a little stressful as a runner. I'm not gonna lie.
Flooded courtyard. Oof. That's another check that if you have to abandon, it's probably not going to be gotten until much later. Just
yeah, also kind of out of the way. But with Light Wall in hand, all of the checks in Ilana's towers, aside from that flooded courtyard, are going to be accessible. So this is a completely reasonable next step for Bodhi. Going to get all the Ilana's tower stuff, getting the chance to check the past shop. Maybe you'll find some good equipment there. And just generally going for that last necessary boss if he thinks that the right side of the present is in play.
Okay. The Maw chests in the upper Lake Desolation, Bodhi had not been able to get, and it was just 2 sands up.
Yep, crash site, a double Maximilian. But still going through the rest of that fire checks, and he has the peace of mind of not leaving those checks behind.
Yes.
And also Eye Orb. Let's not forget Eye Orb here.
Bodhi continuing on through the Royal Towers.
So we know the kind of stuff that Urza's going to be finding here, and we know that it's not going to be very relevant for progression at this point. Bodhi, on the other hand, is checking all new stuff, so there could be anything here. And we're expecting to see some kind of progression here, unless it's, somehow in the other side of the elevator towers, or nobody's checked Bombardiers yet. But there's not really a whole lot more spots to check.
Nope, there's got to be something somewhere, but it looks like it really is trying to get them to go to lab, and I do think we're finally going to have a seed requiring that laser gate drop.
It's been pretty rare with this flag set. Which has just been absolutely fascinating to see. Yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate it. It used to be, you always had to get the 3 bosses. Always going to 3 bosses, always going to lab. Lab is always money, blah, blah, blah. Now, it's all thrown out the window.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the routing very, very interesting, right?
Sandman here is weak to ice already in the second form with that Ice Plus.
Ice Plus doing exactly the amount of work it is supposed to. Also very good against Azure Queen, should they eventually find a difficult Azure Queen location.
Or Maw.
So, useful against some bosses. Nice to have in those situations.
That was a nice duck under that dock. That slam attack.
Very cool.
Beautiful movement on both sides, really.
God, Bodhi putting on a clinic on how to take these bosses down.
Plain Radiant Orb. We have mostly minus orbs in this seed.
Radiant, a very popular aura, but at neutral, I think it's not going to see much screen time this run.
Probably not, unless they go to, like, Spider Hell.
Yep. Then any way to hit the enemies on the ceiling is always going to be useful. Radiant with that kind of circle expanding from the character is a great attack arc. Bodhi getting bullied by mages.
Yep. The spiders also being weak to Radiant helps. But, yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Checking the right-hand side, we don't have to have any struggle juggles because we have that light wall.
Which is good. So we've got 3 checks here, and then 1 check at the bottom of the towers, and then Bombardiers? Like, what's left?
Oh, well, they can get into... oh, there's a spindle.
Okay.
They can go into the present and...
Oh, the towers. Yeah, the elevator towers.
Well, no, the laser gate.
Oh, right. Of course.
That's why
the whole point of killing all 3 bosses.
You forgot the whole point.
Okay. I take it all back. Progression could be anywhere.
Anywhere in the present.
Yeah, and in the present specifically. So, Bodhi heading right, not taking the Temporal Gyre.
It's not in logic just yet because we don't have the wheel. Some racers may take advantage of that and try to sneak ahead in it, but it is a risk because there is an enemy in the Gyre that is... Ooh, the key card. Is invulnerable unless you have time stop. So you just have to sit in the room and think about what you did. You're put in timeout. That's what you get for trying to break logic.
Yeah, more and more it's looking like Bodhi has the right of it, that the progression is going to be over here on the right side of the map. So Urza going back and checking all these one-off locations that they now have access to, I think is the right play for him, given that he is currently behind. But unfortunately, none of them paying out. V key card at Bombardiers isn't going to do much good.
Saw some very beautiful movement on Bodhi's side to dodge those Bombardiers in the military hangar. We also saw that the Bombardiers in the past had the V key card. Could be useful, but they don't have the tablet yet, so... And with how frequently the tablet is a download itself, not very promising of a find for Urza.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about the way this randomizer works is it doesn't make sure that everything is accessible. What it does make sure is that the game is beatable. But if that means that there are some checks that are inaccessible because they don't hold anything relevant to beating the game, then those checks just are inaccessible and the seed is still valid. So the tablet, which is what enables the download, could be on a download, as long as there is nothing else relevant on any of the other downloads.
B-trap!
B-trap in the B-card room, as is appropriate.
We picked up Kobo as well, which opens up that one of the Gyre bosses in the library.
And that's something that I'm not expecting Bodhi to go back for, but I probably am expecting Urza to go back for. He's played...
I was going to say, Bodhi does not have the Merchant Crow, so going into the lab, he would have to skip that one check section.
Interesting. Where was Merchant Crow? Was that the Engineer Jump? Or Bat Ledge? Not Bat Ledge. Engineer Jump.
Not Bat Ledge. Oh, it's been so long. It's been 57 years.
But yeah, Urza has been playing most of this seed as if he's behind. Urza has been constantly going back and checking all those one-offs, making sure that he's not missing anything, and, you know, hoping that the gamble pays off. Whereas LunarRayGames has just been bullying forward. All of those checks that are accessible, he doesn't care. He's going to where the checks are dense. He's going to the new places, checking out the new stuff.
That's a future me problem.
Absolutely. This is the part of the lab that is the absolute worst when you don't have Sash. Even with double jump light wall, it's still a problem.
The thing we just commented on, I do know, is part of Bodhi's mindset in these races. When he's had to skip something or forgot like a single chest somewhere, he just doesn't go back for it. If there's something important there, it's not going to happen till last checks.
And, you know, that can work, or that can punish you. And so far, it looks like it's working.
So far.
So in order to get access to the final boss, access to the Ancient Pyramid, which is what our runners are looking for, you need the remaining 2 pieces of the Timespinner, the wheel and the 3rd gear, as well as either a mysterious warp beacon or access to the lab, which Bodhi will have shortly. Actually, the Timespinner in the lab, I should say.
Urza will have access to lab shortly.
Yeah, Urza will
already in the
shortly.
lab.
Bodhi will shortly have access to the Timespinner in the lab after getting to the fight at Genza location.
Yep.
So Bodhi is in this position now where if he finds those 2 pieces, he's got a straight shot to the end game. He knows exactly where to go, and no other checks are going to be relevant to him. So if he finds the 2 pieces in the near future, that's the seed. That's what we're looking for now. Urza going to be picking up that spindle soon here at the top of the Londis Towers. And Urza's going to find himself in the same position as Bodhi with a full lab clear ahead of him, which is quite behind at this point.
The one hope is that Ravenlord check for Urza.
That's true. He needs Ifrit or Ravenlord to have something good.
Specifically Ravenlord. Bodhi is the one that has Kobo.
Oh, that's true. But we both know that Bodhi's not going back for Kobo, and Urza very well might.
Well, unless he gets Tablet, in which case he's absolutely going back to the library.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a lot of checks that he would be passing up otherwise.
But if it's just one check, you know. So Urza has to hope that... Oh, going to the left?
Yeah, he's got the C key card, so he's gonna go... He's gonna find out that the elevator still is not on. Oh, no, he's on the left tower. Okay, so he's going this side, and he can go from the left side in order to check the right side of the elevator towers. And he'll be able to find the Varnagroth location, as well as that extra room.
No, he won't be able to go to the Varnagroth location.
Oh, not without the elevator. Yeah, you're right, you're right.
But he can check the Timespinner room at the top. Well, no, that one's already open.
That one's already open. But yeah, he can open the walkway across to the other tower, and he can check that one room underneath with like the 4 or 5 checks or whatever it is underneath it. But yeah, without the elevator key card, this is a really rough set of checks to make and a long walk out. Fortunately, as a warp shard, so it's not going to be that long out.
Unfortunately for Urza, we know there isn't anything important in here.
Do we?
I'm pretty sure we don't. There isn't anything.
I would be surprised to find out that Bodhi had gone back to check these checks.
I know he checked the left side.
Yeah, they both checked the left side. I think he warped out immediately after that.
Right.
I think he didn't have the C key card till after he went to, because the C was in Desolation, so he hasn't been back to the elevator tower since then. Right.
Well, we have the final boss of the game here, and he's done.
Well, that's that. No, that was a replacement for the Genza fight in the lab, dropping a looks like blood orb
card.
Oh no!
Over in the vents with Urza, possibly important.
Possibly important. Urza needs something here. Urza needs these gambles to pay off. All of these things that he's doing that is not heading towards the right side of the map. And to be honest, LunarRayGames hasn't found anything yet, right? Like Bodhi hasn't found anything that means that this sidetrack is required.
The unfortunate part is that the A key card does open the late game areas that is both Spider Hell, and Zarian Caves, which no one likes.
He's thinking about it. Oh, I know that look.
No. Forgot he didn't get twins.
As is tradition.
All right, fine. I'm going to Zarian.
Yep. Gonna be twins to go through the hangar? That's not worth it. We're going to Zarian's cave instead.
Zarian's way easier. I mean, you can full clear it, and it's not doubling back. So also maybe hinging on the bet. Okay, the other runner's probably not going to go here. I hate going here.
Yeah, Urza making some very good bets, honestly. Like, these are the bets that he needs to make in order to come out ahead in this seed, given how behind he is. Although I'm not sure that he knows exactly how behind he is. I think he, given what I know of Urza as a person, I'm expecting him to believe that he's some amount of behind.
Yes. He just doesn't know that that's a correct assumption. But this is only from our estimations. We don't know where the rest of these things are.
Exactly.
Just based on our current knowledge, it seems that Urza is behind. LunarRayGames almost fell all the way back down.
But yeah, it's true. He's only behind if the things that LunarRayGames are doing are relevant. And they haven't been yet. There's still neither of those two pieces of the Timespinner over here. There's still no mysterious warp beacon over here.
Are we going to see something in way up there?
Oh, what a hassle.
Oh, please let there be something in way up there, and they have to light wall up there.
Well, there's Mayef.
We do have a question in chat. Yes, LunarRayGames, aka Bodhi, is the creator of the base vanilla game, and he just loves randomizers a lot. He said it's a fun new way to re-experience his own game. Because you can imagine, he's kind of seen everything that has to happen with his game.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good. He's stiff opposition. I mean, we can see, right? Like, he's, you know, been gaining time on Urza this entire time. And part of that is not going back to check some of the one-offs, but part of that is also just really crisp movement, really good technical movement, and good usage of the spells and orbs that he's had available.
And also that inherent knowledge, like, you can jump over the Hammer Giantesses after they've taken a swing.
Yeah, that familiarity is very real.
Single jump.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I both of them are in the place where it kind of feels like what they're doing is kind of a gamble, right? Like for Bodhi, if there's nothing up here.
Zarian.
Oh.
And nothing in way up there.
Nothing
Water
in way up there.
in Zarian.
Nothing in the towers.
Nothing.
Actual nothing in the towers. Nothing in the towers. Nothing in the lab.
There's a wheel in Zarian.
Watermask and wheel at Zarian? Oh my god, Urza is miles ahead
now. Let's call it now is the Watermask bait, because Urza is only one gear behind now from Go mode.
I mean, that's true. Gear at Zarian and Watermask never mattered anyway, right?
Yeah. Taking bets now.
And Urza showing off that wheel immediately, using it to get over the snail.
Mm-hmm. And flooded Zarian caves. Good to find Watermask on the way.
Mm-hmm.
We do have LunarRayGames doing the one-offs here in the Castle Ramparts, mainly because of the meme that Bombardiers always has that last check. Right.
So as long as LunarRayGames is going through the stuff that Urza's already done, that is just cementing Urza's lead.
Mm-hmm.
Urza does not, though. A good point has been made in chat. Urza does not have the Mysterious Warp Beacon. Yeah. Which means that in order to get access to
that lab, yeah.
Exactly. In order to get access to the pyramid and that final boss, he's going to need to go through the Timespinner unless he finds that Mysterious Warp Beacon. Mm-hmm. So if that's not on the way, if that's not one of the things he finds, he might still have to clear some of the stuff that Bodhi has already cleared, which is a bit of an advantage for Bodhi, but enough of an advantage? That's really hard to say.
Urza decided not to day Satan on the Zarian spot being flooded. And we haven't seen some of the more annoying bosses, like Ravenlord, yet.
True. Ravenlord at Zarian would be a heck of a hassle, especially without Sash.
Flooded Zarian would be not great. And it's still a possibility.
Flooded Ravenlord at Zarian.
There's an elevator keycard in the Eels Lake.
Love that. Love that for them. Urza going back to the Siren's Cave now, the Upper Caves of Banishment, with I believe 4 checks underwater. So this is going to be some decent value. Hasn't checked Waterfall, I don't think.
Nope, neither of them have yet.
Yep. Yeah, Bodhi checking the Caves of Banishment. They're in the same place at the same time, but only one of them has the water mask.
Yeah, Bodhi's going through and doing the one-offs instead of going to get Zarian, which we do know is required, because there was that wheel down there. We don't know if the water checks are required yet. But this is going to be kind of crazy if the water mask actually blocked the last gear, because then we have that sort of race condition of LunarRayGames finding that water mask and then finding the gear, and then Urza running to the lab.
Right, yeah, because I don't think it can be understated. There's still a chunk of map that Urza needs to clear if Urza doesn't find that Mysterious Warp Beacon, which Bodhi on the right already has cleared. So that is absolutely muddying the waters, as it were, here. But again, a lot of it depends on where that last piece of progression is, where that last gear is, whether or not there's a Mysterious Beacon on the way. Oh, Bodhi going for Kobo. I guess it makes sense now that he's actually cleared out all of the major locations.
And doesn't want to do Zarian.
Watch Kobo be that gear.
I don't remember where Kobo was either.
Kobo was in the lab.
Was he?
Yeah.
I thought we had him earlier. No, you're right. I remember now.
Yep, Kobo was in the lab. We had the Merchant Crow for Urza.
Yeah.
From, I think, the Engineer Jump, which LunarRayGames has not gone all the way towards.
No, he did.
Did he?
And so it wasn't there. We have the Moat check with Urza. With nothing.
Nothing. Forbidden Plus?
Really needs this water mask to pay off.
Yeah, if this is bait, then this is a whole lot of time lost.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many random one-off checks.
Nothing at Kobo.
Courtyard! He's going for the courtyard.
Oh, right. Remember, I mentioned that one's real hard to get people to go back for.
It's hard to get people to go out. It's hard to remember, honestly. It's entirely new to the Rising Tides flag. So the fact that the courtyard can be flooded is something most of our runners aren't even used to yet. And going there and not being able to get it and remembering that you need to come back is, you know, a skill on its own.
Mm-hmm. LunarRayGames going to go check left side of Varndegroth Tower, I assume. That might be where Merchant Crow was.
I think oh yeah, Bodhi hasn't been up there yet. Okay.
No. That might be where Merchant Crow was.
Yep, and he's got that C key card, so he's going to get a little bit more value out of it than Urza did the first time. Urza having to retrace his steps in order to check those C checks.
Urza going to take out the twin spot, so committing to getting into that lab.
Oh no, that probably means that Urza is about to head towards the lab then from here, which is maybe necessary, maybe not necessary, but we know there's no progression in the lab. We know it's not going to have that last gear for him.
And we know that there's nothing in Dad's tower either, so that's also very tempting when you get over there and you have infinite verticals. Like, why not? I'll just clear out this area. And we know there's nothing there either, so that would allow LunarRayGames to vastly catch up. Absolutely. And also, like, LunarRayGames is making the right decision now, right? Going into the elevator towers for that A key card and probably immediately going to Zarian afterwards. Crow. Yep, there's Merchant Crow. It was up here. LunarRayGames does not have the elevator key card just yet, so we'll have to warp shard out of the towers. Urza jumping back to the laser gate, going left to do elevator key card stuff. Oh yeah, elevator key card. Yep. So this could be it. If he does this, then that's very good for him. If this has, you know, the progression that he's looking for. But we know that Bodhi is heading in the right direction for what he needs to do next, right? He's going to get the A key card over here, and then hopefully head towards Zarian to pick up that wheel and the elevator key card that he is currently missing. If elevator key card is gating us, that requires a double dip of the Varndegroth Tower to get the A key card, then go into Zarian to get the key card, the elevator key card, and then back to the tower. Just back and forth all over. Yeah, a lot of running around. Ifrit showing up at the Varndegroth location. Ifrit, a very late game boss in a very early game location. Also with the cheat spot right underneath his armpit. If you make it there, you can either dash or time stop to get in there. And then he can't hurt you at all. Just Ifrit isn't real. Ifrit can't hurt you. Urza still taking advantage of the key cards that he has access to. LunarRayGames heading into Zarian. Yep, we both know this is the decision that he needs to make. So making good progress, but still behind. Well, depending on whether or not lab is necessary. There's so many questions. It's all up in the air still. Where is that last gear? Are they going to need the lab? Is the mysterious beacon available at all? What if it's waterfall? Oh, there's it's the always DP waterfall. Card. Maybe it's above the Merchant Crow. Yep. D key card unlocking 3 more checks in the library. Still no tablet though. Had to come back for Urza. He ran out of warp shards, so he's going back to buy stuff anyway, and probably is going to check the stash above since he's here. Seems likely. Where is that mysterious beacon? Maybe, oh, there it is. Well, there we go. So now it's just that last gear. I didn't see which side it was. Did you see? This could mean that the lab was bait. It could be. This could mean that even breaking the military hangar at all was just bait. No, D key card needed elevator key card. Which was behind Zarian. And A key card was in was in Varndegroth Towers. Right. That means that wow. Once again, prove to me I need to go past that military hangar. That is some daisy chaining. Right? A lot of doubling back?
Bait. Everything is bait. All things are bait. Do not make checks. Embrace nihilism. Urza taking the checks in the pyramid, absolutely understandable given the situation.
Got one thing left. There's a whole bunch of things in the pyramid. You got to go through the pyramid anyway. It is a little rough going through here without dash and without the sash either.
Yep.
So it's a little rough. These guys are probably going to bully Urza a little bit.
Yeah.
At least try to.
With double jump light wall, it's maybe not as bad as it could otherwise be.
I know single jump
really
light wall
there,
is
honestly.
a nightmare.
Yep. Doable, but a nightmare. There's that water mask for Bodhi. Maybe Bodhi will check waterfall.
But he needs to continue clearing out here because he'll get that wheel. And then it's going to be basically... tablet!
Oh, no!
That's a spicy check.
So there's that wheel for Bodhi on the right. You've got to wonder, seeing that wheel at 59 minutes into the seed, what have you done? Have you made mistakes?
Tablet in the pyramid. And the warp beacon was behind the D key card, which was behind, like, oh no, light wall skip failed. Light
wall skip not quite working out. Harder without the Teleria for sure, but this just gives Urza an excuse to check regret.
If tablet has something, then, oh boy.
Yeah, what a chain, right? With D behind A and A behind...
A has an amazing point. What if the download is in the lab with a gear?
Oh, that's very exciting.
Oh, please let that be the truth. That'd be hilarious and terrible.
That would be really bad for Urza, honestly, because I'm not expecting Urza to head towards that lab unless he has literally nowhere else to go.
Yeah, absolutely, because, like, why would you? He could be anywhere. Urza's really hoping it's in Regret Chest or at the very end of the pyramid.
Yeah, right in front of Sandman's door. I'm on the edge of my seat here. Every single check is like, is it here? Is it here?
Is it here? Is it here? Oh gosh. Getting upper caves of
no
banishment.
economizer ring for Urza. Urza about to make that light wall climb. Oh boy.
Upper caves of banishment for Bodhi over here. Stuff we've already seen, so we know that it's not there. We have one more exciting check over on Urza's side after he makes this. No! Oh,
poor
Urza.
kid. Yeah, this is a struggle for sure.
The struggle climb.
So I guess let's check in on Bodhi while we're waiting for Urza to finish his climb. Bodhi now making his
later.
Yeah, right. Bodhi now making his second trip through these caves with the water mask. So a little bit of backtracking for Bodhi. Not as much backtracking as Urza has needed to do, going through elevator towers 3 times instead of 2. But all of this is just, you know, making when you made the decisions you made and what you had at the time, like, is it saving time? Is it losing time? You can never know.
Oh, Urza made it up.
Okay, good. I can look at the other screen again.
I don't think either of them have checked waterfall yet. Either.
That sounds about right. Although I would expect Urza to check waterfall before going towards the lab.
Yes.
LunarRay checking the eels check now.
You know that there's nothing in here.
There are so many chests that we know there's nothing in.
And we know it's not there, and we know it's not there. And it's like the world's worst almanac. I know what it's not.
Oh, I really like that routing. I haven't seen that before. Climbing up to so you're not swimming the whole way at the bottom of the lake.
Oh right, there was elevator keycard down here.
That's where elevator keycard is, behind the water mask.
Yep.
And that elevator keycard is going to be required to get D?
No, it was just sand.
All right, so early pyramid, not necessarily required. Now going for that Zarian fight.
No.
No. Changing his mind.
Too spicy.
Too spicy.
Going to get more warp shards. Nope, doing downloads.
Right, yeah,
really
he did pick up that tablet. There's a bunch of checks here.
He really needs it to be downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's
that's gonna
Teleria.
help. That is our horizontal dash. Gonna help get speedy movement through sparrows.
Wow. Sparrows actually hit someone. And he's got that V key card already, too, so there's a few more checks here.
Oh.
Nothing.
Unfortunate. Oh, man.
Is it lab time? Where are we headed, Urza?
Urza, where are we going? Waterfall. Someone do waterfall!
I think Urza's checking, yep.
Yep, E.
Present sirens.
No,
this is all, oh no. Where are we going? Oh, the B check. The B and tablet.
B1. Yep.
Mm-hmm. One more elevator keycard check.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Eva. Nothing good.
And probably sirens then?
Probably sirens. The elevator keycard, like, they've been in and out of this elevator tower so many times.
There's that D key card that was locked behind the elevator key card, which was locked behind the water mask, which was locked behind the A key card.
So now LunarRayGames can go and get his tablet out of the pyramid, which may or may not be relevant, we don't know.
Man, this chain.
Absolutely incredible.
Write this down. Just...
And we should see an immediate check of the pyramid. The one piece left, let's go check the pyramid, has also been the theme of this tournament.
Urza tapped the warp, but didn't check the sirens.
Interesting. Okay. I guess with the elevator keycard, there's still a couple of checks that he hadn't picked up here in the towers.
Nothing.
Nothing.
We do have LunarRayGames moving through the pyramid here. Gonna find that tablet.
Urza staring at the screen. What will the map reveal to you, Urza? What secrets hidden inside can you discern?
I really have to go to the lab? Really? I guess I'll do sirens.
Yep. Still not waterfall, notably.
Yep. Yeah, so we're getting the tablet. So Talaria was behind the tablet, which was behind the warp, which was behind D key card, which was behind elevator key card, which was behind water mask.
Behind A.
Behind water mask behind A.
There we go. And A was just in the towers. No, A was behind C.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get the elevator card yet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a chain.
My head hurts. We're at an hour 6, okay? Oh, math, though.
Sure.
Always a good seed for math. And... Come on!
One more check down here. One more check down here that we haven't seen yet.
Please free us from this mortal coil. No,
Bodhi picking up the tablet on the right side. Still nothing! Okay, so it's looking more and more like lab downloads, right?
Yeah! Which is, I think, the main way LunarRayGames catches back up here. Is
if the lab is required.
Yeah, the lab has to be required. Which would be such an awkward way for it to be required. Come on, waterfall!
Nope, heading to the lab. Gonna look at those downloads. Oh, maybe hit the Gyre?
Gyre? We haven't checked the Gyre yet, but Urza's like, nope.
Oh, and Present Bombardiers is in Logic now, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which LunarRayGames hasn't checked yet.
Yep.
Because the wheel.
I bet both of them are thinking, oh man, the other guy's gonna get done soon. They're gonna hit done. Oh god. Where is it?
This could be it. No.
Bird statue, and... Nope.
Right, yeah. There's a gun in for the rest of the lab, and if it's in Waterfall, well...
Well, we know everything that both sides are going to see, so how was your day?
My day was mostly prepping for this this race. I am honestly, like, sitting around waiting for the next... I'm eating, breathing, and living Timespinner right now.
There was Kobo.
There's Kobo. Not in the lab proper, but behind the gates.
On the way to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Regretted it.
As is tradition.
and then time to do the climb.
Yep.
My day was a little miserable. I went and got the flu shot and COVID booster shot, and had a migraine from yesterday till today. About 24 hours of a migraine.
Oh,
luckily,
bummer.
it was a little mini baby migraine, so it I could function. But man, when
I am always worried about taking the flu shot and the COVID shot together. Like I have taken them separately and been fine, but I've seen other people who've taken them separately and been fine, and then taking them both together and been miserable.
I'm okay now. It was just the miserable 24 hours bit, and like I was a little spacey during when I was teaching. But
so Urza doubling back here to the library, checking that Ifrit spot, using that Kobo, which we unfortunately know is nothing. So that's going to give LunarRayGames a little bit more time to catch up.
Yep.
A little bit more time to get that tablet and either access those tablet checks in the lab, which he already has access to. He has access to the lab in a way that Urza doesn't. Or go check Waterfall.
Oh, looks like lab.
No Waterfall. Still lab.
Lab.
I mean, this could still be it, right? And Urza wants to check as much as he can here before turning off the lab. So we'll probably, see him check these bottom spots first. And probably checking all the spots with the conveyor belts first. There's one tablet check.
LunarRayGames, probably buying more warp shards. Man, where is it?
So Urza still has a couple of checks.
I do want to mention, getting both the shots together, my elderly parents had no problem with it, so I'm just a big wuss.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely affects different people in different ways. Well, there's that Teleria attachment.
Yep,
so
that's going to help Bodhi maintain the current distance between the two. Come on, someone check Waterfall, please!
If only for peace of mind. If only so we know. Yeah, Urza, meanwhile, going through to check. Ooh, Gin Inferno Plus on that download. Nothing behind Experiment 13.
Oh, we got lab downloads on LunarRayGames' side.
Yep, if the lab downloads... And look, okay, so LunarRayGames ahead now. Just straight up ahead. They have the exact same progression. LunarRayGames has access to these downloads that Urza doesn't. And LunarRayGames is moving faster at this point.
He picked up the sash there. He went in a different way.
Well, he has access to these checks from behind, right? He doesn't need to go through the rest of the lab in order to get here.
Okay, yeah. That's going to help.
LunarRay also capable of warping out of the lab right now, and Urza isn't.
Yes.
So if the Spider Hell has it...
Or anywhere past Spider Hell, because you can't warp until you leave the lab or get to Genza. Spider Hell truly living up to its name.
Absolutely. God, what a struggle.
The lab was powered by bees! That just sounds like something Genza would do. I've come up with a new engine. Why is it humming? Oh, it's not humming. That's the bees! Why don't you open it up and fix it?
No, nothing.
But Urza's
going to have to struggle his way back through all of those spiders in order to get to the rest of the lab, and Bodhi just warping out.
Oh my god! Where is it?
Still a couple more download checks. And
Ravenlord spot.
Yep, Ravenlord spot.
Is it Waterfall? Is it Waterfall? Come on.
Zarian at Ravenlord. I guess that's better than Flooded Zarian?
Bird? Yep. Ah, God, Bodhi, don't die!
Well, 8 HP. Ooh. Alright, Urza catching up, though. Urza making his way finally through that A gate, and he's going to hit these same downloads and then be on his way to the same place. So, he is behind LunarRayGames, but not by a lot here. It's, what? 15 seconds? 30 seconds? Depends on this fight.
LunarRayGames keeps putting himself in Lightwall jail inside of Zarian.
Oh no. What a rough
Zarian, high
encounter.
five.
Yep, both in the middle of this encounter. I'm watching the timer now for when this fight actually clears.
Mm-hmm.
This is a rough spot to face Zarian. 113-18 for Zarian death on Bodhi's side.
And nope.
Nothing.
Got the rest of the downloads.
Yep, there's one more download to check.
30 on the left.
Sellen's Bangle.
Okay.
Wow,
So-
that's like 12-second difference. That's nothing. These
It
two
wasn't
runners neck and neck
downloads.
right now. Yep, Geyer could be at Geyer or at Waterfall. Those are we've
man.
seen Modern Bombardiers, so we know it's there.
Oh no, we got Bodhi checking the B download here, and we know it's nothing.
Oh no, Urza's gonna check the towers. Urza's gonna get this
Yeah.
far and be like, well, it's gotta be here, right? And continue into
Yeah.
Emperor's Towers. Oh no.
That's bad for Urza, unless he gets real spicy and be like, wait, what about Waterfall?
Yeah, we're on Waterfall or Geyer now, I think is the place.
Our knowledge space. Yeah. Look at that full clear tractor down there. Urza does have the sash, so it is easier for him to continue on through the Emperor's Tower, so it will
That's
be a
true.
little faster for him, but LunarRayGames has already done it, and has about parity for clear locations for Urza.
There's still a couple of one-offs, like this Varnagray location. I think, I don't know if he's checked the Spider Hell location here yet.
But these places, Urza did not have the Talaria attachment when he checked.
So
That
Bodhi
ledge
definitely
was
making up some
gotten.
time.
That ledge was gotten, it was nothing.
Are we going? We going up? Looks like we're going up. Unfortunate.
If it is in Waterfall, they could have been done so long ago.
Right? Yeah, Waterfall was available without even going to the lab. Could be in Waterfall, could be in Geyer. We know it's not Crash Site.
We got LunarRayGames heading into the Siren Case. We know there's nothing there. We know there's nothing here with Urza.
But that Celestial Sash doing just an incredible amount of work for these checks. Dad's Tower is very, very difficult to get through without the Sash. Sash making short work of it.
So, let's get bets going. Is it the Geyer or Waterfall? What do you think, Jim?
I think it's Waterfall. I do. I think that this was another seed where Gas Mask and B card and bosses, it was all bait.
Bait,
I think it was
bait.
Waterfall.
Well, if it was in Geyer, then clearing the bosses was not bait. So.
It's true. If it's in Geyer, then Gas Mask was real. But
But that wouldn't be, fitting with the theme of this.
Exactly. I do not believe in Gas Mask.
All right, come on. Somebody, please check it.
Well,
Urza's
making his way through those towers really quickly while Bodhi goes to check out some of the stuff that Urza's already done. So this is actually really good for Urza still. There's just as much potential on either side.
Where else have I not checked? He's going to check these
Crash
areas.
Site. He's going for Crash Site.
Yep, we got
So that's
LunarRayGames.
again, good for Urza. Wow. I thought Urza was like actual behind, miles behind.
Well, Urza's checking Zarian flooded location, so
It's gonna be a rough check.
yep. It is
Ooh.
flooded Emperor Nuvius. Gross.
Super gross.
It could be here though.
This is a relatively high HP location, although it is not a Geyer location.
Are we getting Waterfall?
For everyone's sake, it's not.
No, we're
Zarian.
getting the flooded moat.
The moat check, yep, which we know has nothing.
Yeah.
So what was Zarian hiding? Plasma
God,
Bag.
it's not that. Oh my god. Urza's like, where?
Yep,
the heck?
checking the map. Look at the past, my friend. Look at the past.
Look at the past.
Oh, look, he sees the Geyer here, so that's a possible
Yeah.
check.
Okay.
that is
looks
potentially
like Urza's
real.
going for Geyer.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's going for Waterfall. Here it is, the truth.
This is the deciding factor. Oh, oh my god. Oh.
Maximilian rearing his ugly head.
Oh,
And it's got to be in Gyre. It's got to be in Gyre. So how well do you handle these honestly terrible gauntlet rooms?
You just don't. And I'm pretty sure... Oh, is he? No. Is he?
Yeah, I think Bodhi still has some other stuff to check.
Yeah. Where's he going? Where are we going, buddy? Oh, is he going the Gyre?
Well, that's one check deep.
It's not the first check either.
Oh, he's checking Bombardiers. Yep.
Okay. He skipped over him. Come on, go on the Gyre!
More Hell Spiders. More Hellgazers.
Yep. Oh,
one of the
Gyre.
more frustrating enemies.
Gyre! They're both in the Gyre!
Alright, well, here it is. Urza getting to the second chest. High potion.
The last check, then?
What a race!
It's gonna come down to execution if it's in here.
Absolutely.
These are some nasty rooms, man.
These are some nasty rooms. We haven't seen the 12 blue warlocks yet, which is probably the nastiest of rooms.
Mm-hmm. Lots of meteor sparrows, though.
Mm-hmm. Here it is. This has to be it, right? It can't be anywhere else?
Where did we miss?
Well, Urza definitely goes to Waterfall now. What? Yeah, what check have we missed? Is there did we both forget a tablet? Like,
What did we forget? Is this an unbeatable seed? Oh no.
we've seen Varn de Groth. I think LunarRayGames just went there relatively recently.
We saw Varney.
There's a refilling on warp shards. This is the second refill now on warp shards. I'm pretty sure Bodhi fought Cantorin.
I don't know. We fought Cantorin himself, but anyone get actual Cantorin?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bodhi checked that Cantorin location. Urza's now checking Waterfall. Understandable.
Maybe.
Maybe not. I bet you will see Urza check there now.
Yeah.
Since I'm fairly sure that Urza hasn't checked Cantorin yet.
Where?
I was so sure. I was so sure. What's even left? Bodhi has not checked pink yet?
Apparently.
Interesting.
Gonna go check something up here. Probably flooded courtyard.
Urza somehow skipped the crystal in the mall location, but I don't think it was anything relevant.
Oh, doggo check! No.
And
I was excited.
So many checks. There's so many possible checks. Bodhi checking the flooded courtyard, which we know is not it.
This is one of those cases where leaving something on the ground is biting them hard.
Mm-hmm. Because now it's giving extra noise on the map.
Yeah.
Okay, Urza checking Cantorin.
Okay. I don't think we've seen this fight.
Oh, maybe we haven't.
Queen at Cantorin.
There it is!
They could have been done so long ago!
Yep. And Gas Mask was bait.
Oh no! They could have been done so long ago!
That is go mode for Urza. Urza killing Cantorin, getting that last gear.
Wow.
And making his way to the final bosses.
Okay, I'm gonna switch audio.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Personally, at an hour 22, I'm just glad that one of them found it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, their damage was real garbage at the time, so I'm not surprised they both skipped it, but it's fascinating they never went back there.
Yeah. I could have sworn I saw Bodhi do it, but I guess I was wrong.
Ooh, man.
Urza fighting young Nuvius first.
Yep. And on to the second boss. It's Ravenlord!
Ravenlord at night. At least we have the sash. At least we have the sash.
I think that's appropriate for yet another seed that I created, where they had to struggle to fight Ravenlord with single jump. Now it's the final boss, but you have all your equipment. See, not that bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Everything is fine.
This seed sure is a seed.
Wow. Yeah, just incredible. What a
Stuff
chain
sure
of
was.
items required.
Stuff sure was randomized. Okay, we're done, and LunarRayGames has forfeited perfectly fine.
Mhm. That is a 1:23:16 according to the race time clock for UrzaMTG.
And hi Urza, thank you for freeing us from this horrible dimension.
I cannot believe I skipped so many things and last locationed Cantorin for the last gear.
Yep, Cantorin for the last gear. And
Yeah.
welcome, Bodhi.
What?
Yeah.
I thought I killed Cantorin.
Apparently not.
It was my last gear. It may not. What you were missing a gear?
Missing
Yep.
a gear.
It's in the same gear.
Oh, I didn't go in there.
Because
I
you're
knew it! I knew it! You killed Cantorin and then didn't actually check the item.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, that's
no,
horrible.
Wait.
Oh my god, this seed was so
Wow.
cursed.
How does that make any sense?
Hmm.
Oh, there it is. Oh my god, I was totally gonna check it, and I totally forgot. I just warped out, right? That's what happened.
Yeah.
You just didn't go back into the room.
Jim and
I
I
didn't?
were.
I think
my
so.
God. 'Cause,
You
like,
have to leave the room and come back to get the thing in Cantoran.
okay, well, T-base is fired.
Yeah, Jim and I were confused because we were like, where could it be? And Jim was certain.
Oh no, you
would-
haven't fought it.
Yeah, I hadn't fought it because he was
Okay.
still alive.
Okay,
I
never
killed
mind.
it.
Never mind. Not just a vagary of randomizer
Right.
programming. You just hadn't actually fought the boss.
Okay.
All right then.
Whew.
Well, your damage was garbage at that point, so I'm not surprised both of you did not fight him early on. It was
Mhm.
just, oh, we could have been done so long ago.
I made so many mistakes. I was convinced I was losing this race. Like,
Yeah,
I got knocked out of Giantess room like 2 or 3 times and left and came back.
I was making the comments to Llama, like all of your checks, kind of going back for all these one-offs. You very much were playing like you were behind, like you needed to gamble in order to make something work.
Yep.
It was back and forth so much. There was a good chunk of the race, Urza, where you actually absolutely were behind, maybe 45 seconds to a minute behind LunarRayGames, just following in his footsteps. And then you went to Zarian first. So you had
Yeah.
access to the long chain of fetch quest items that eventually led you to there's the wheel in Zarian, there was the Teleria behind Tablet, behind Mysterious Beacon, all from behind A card, all in Zarian. And yeah, you had that advantage while Bodhi was going to the lab. And then we got to this point at the end where you still didn't have the Mysterious Beacon. And there was the question of, would you need to go to the lab? And then you got the Mysterious Beacon and you had the tablet and it was like, oh, is it behind a tablet? Do you still need to go to the lab? And at the end of the day, it was bait. Gas mask was bait.
We were really hoping that there was a download inside lab, because that would have been hilarious.
I was honestly hoping for that. I must have had a... Bodhi, what were you using for the spiders? The laser spiders?
Light wall and radiant orb.
Okay.
I am going to, unfortunately, hurry us along just a little bit, because we
Right,
have
there's
another
another race
race
waiting
that's
for us.
scheduled in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would love to pick your brains, but we got to get moving.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, absolutely. That was...
Thank you, everyone.
Amazingly
That was
cursed.
terrible. I'm very sorry I did this. Stick around. There'll be another race right here with other people. Yep. Bye.
Drop a follow to both of our runners, UrzaMTG and LunarRayGames, especially if you're interested in development for the upcoming Timespinner too.
Yep, absolutely. LunarRayGames does great development streams.
All right, let's go. Bye.
Hi.
Bye.